Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Our next guest says our emotional wellness is not just about coping, it's really about healing. Here to share how to find relief that goes beyond symptom management so you can truly feel better, we welcome back recovery expert and author of Conscious Creation, TJ Woodward. It's so nice to see you.
Well, thank you so much. It's always great to be with you. And once again, I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Sure. Well, I think a lot of people can relate to this feeling of, I think I'm doing things right, taking care of myself and my mental space, but I feel stuck and like I just don't feel great. Do you hear that a lot from people?
Absolutely. I think for so many of us, we reach a certain point where maybe what we've been doing, whether that's therapy or a wellness practice, reaches a certain limit and it's time for us to go a little bit deeper. That certainly was true in my life and certainly in my friends and family and clients I've worked with over the year. That seems to be a common experience as well.
So what are we missing with some of those traditional methods of dealing with our mental wellness?
Well, I think it's interesting that we even call it mental wellness, right? So mental wellness is important, but there's so much more. There's an Indian proverb that says we're a house with four rooms: physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. It's a great acronym. It's pies, and each one of those is a piece of the pie. And if we're focusing only on the intellectual part, discovering patterns, looking at the thoughts we have about ourselves, it can be very helpful. But unless we spend some time in those other rooms, the physical room, the emotional room, and also the spiritual room, I think we're limiting ourselves.
Well, and it makes sense. I think we've talked about this before, that a lot of us have these unconscious beliefs. We're kind of hard on ourselves. Maybe we feel unworthy or like we can't achieve certain things. That sounds like it comes right into play in this scenario.
It really does. And sometimes we're not even aware of it. That's why when we're only looking at the mind or our thoughts, we might not even be aware of what's in the unconscious. And I know you and I have had a couple of conversations about this. It's important that we understand that what's really creating what we call reality is not only just our conscious thoughts, but also the unconscious assumptions that we have about ourselves and the world. And for some of us, we're not even aware that they're there and that they're running the show. So I like to say there are three steps: awareness, awareness, and awareness.
Yeah, well, so then you've got the awareness, right? Are there other just practical things we can try to bridge that gap between just coping and really healing and feeling better?
Yeah, I think safe environments, whether that's a therapist, a coach, a support group, a spiritual community, some place where we can go and be really authentic and have some support in becoming aware of just not only the situations of our lives, right? So it's really common in our culture now to talk about toxic relationships, toxic work environments. How do we get rid of them? And that may be an important step, but there's something deeper happening. And I think safe environments where we can be authentic and take a look under the hood, if you will. And some of us maybe don't think that's going to be easy, but with supportive community, it's something that we actually can do. We can actually heal these underlying root causes.
Right. Sometimes it's so much scarier to look inward and try and uncover what's going on inside of our own selves versus dealing with the external forces and, well, I can write this person off, or that's a toxic situation and I'm just going to avoid that for now.
That's right. And there's something to that. And then if we notice a pattern repeating over and over and over again, we might want to ask ourselves, what's my role in this? Not from a place of shifting from blaming someone else to blaming ourselves, but moving into curiosity. I wonder what these ideas I have about myself. I wonder about the energy that I'm holding about myself, and not just about the relationships. The way I like to say it is, if you plant a maple seed, you'll get a maple tree. So if I plant a core false belief that I'm unlovable, that's the tree I'm going to get. And we spend a lot of time trimming the branches and maybe even cutting down the tree. But until we get down and look at where those seeds were planted and how they're trapped in the unconscious, we're just going to keep replicating the same thing over and over again unconsciously.
Well, and it seems like when you can really get to the root and finally dismantle those kind of tough things internally, there must be a sense of freedom that comes along with, hey, I don't have to go along this way and believe these untrue things about myself.
That is absolutely right. Once we get to the place where we realize that the world isn't happening to us, but we have a role in it, as you said, maybe it's scary to look, but it's even scarier to keep not looking, right? So when we get to a place where we start to look, start to heal that, it's like, oh my gosh, I actually can be free regardless of what's happening around me. And that's where we reach a place of true inner peace, and life starts to become really interesting. A good friend of mine, Dr. Sue Morter, says, life is difficult and challenging until it isn't.
Ugh. Hey, I'm inspired already. It's always so nice chatting with you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you so much. Always great to be with you.
TJ's book again is Conscious Creation, and we'll have more information on our website at katu.com.